Okay, then let's get it going, and waiting for my colleague also to log in. Okay. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to this session on internal soft skills. Deepak Verma and I, Subramanian Shankaran, will be hosting this. My apologies for a little bit of confusion around when do we start. I know that many of you have logged in earlier on time as well, and I respect that. And so were we ready to deliver, but I believe there was some confusion about when the chief guest will inaugurate the proceedings formally. So we thought we'll make good use of the waiting time. And here we start with what we have ready. And I will request all of you to mute your microphones. And if possible, for those who can, come on video so that we can see you. I believe most of you are on YouTube, so that may not be possible. So I'll keep my video on, and my colleague Deepak will also join in shortly. Give me a thumbs up sign or something to tell me now that you're able to hear me, see me well. For those who are on the Zoom platform, let me know, because I need to get a cue that all is well before I continue with the presentation. Can you just give me a quick voice or a chat? Okay, that yes, all is well. Can any of you come off mute or just tell me that you can see me, you can hear me well? Okay, I got a response. Thank you. All right, so this when we were invited to do this program, saying that we want you to engage with a large, wide audience across the country. All of you are on your journey to becoming medical professionals. I would say one of the most noble and the most sought after, most important professionals in the entire world, for that matter. And the COVID has actually thrown up very strongly how crucial your role is. And so you're on this journey, and many of you already jumped into that raging storm that is started in March of 2020, maybe a little earlier in other parts of the world. But many of you, I'm sure, are deeply involved in managing issues around COVID, even though many of you may be undergraduates, still not fully ready for the world, but still you have rolled up your sleeves and jumped into the storm. So talking about storms, I remember reading this particular phrase that came from somebody during the early part of the COVID, where this guy says that we are all not in the same boat, we are all in the same storm. Now think about it. We are all not in the same boat, but we are all in the same storm. This is coming from this old phrase of we are all in the same boat. Now he has very beautifully changed it to say that, no, we are not in the same boat. We are all in different boats. We are all in different sizes of boats. Some are in ships, some are in very stable frigates, some are in large tanker-sized, huge floating devices. Some of them may be in small catamarans or even in small rubber dinghies. But the point is, the storm is the same. All of us are facing the same issues when it comes to what's happening as a result of the pandemic. Now, how do we manage that? How are we managed that? And how do we go ahead managing that? Even as we wonder about our career, our family, our finance, our physical health, our mental health, our social life, all these dimensions of our life, all of them in some way or the other has been impacted in this last year and a half. And we don't know how long this storm is going to last, number one. Number two, we don't even know how many storms are around the corner for us. Is this the last of the storm? Not really. Just one of the biggest storms that all of us have faced in our lives. I can definitely say with confidence that all of you, including myself and my colleague Deepak, and all those who have joined here, none of us have seen something like this in our lives before. So none of us can take refuge in the idea that I know what is happening and when this is going to end. I have the experience. Not at all. So there is this huge pause that has come into our lives. There's a huge sudden disruption, a halt in our routines. We don't know what to do. We're figuring it out. We discovered the virulence of the virus. We discovered what it takes to manage the virus. It took a lot of deaths. It took a lot of it sapped a lot of economies. Many countries are still suffering the after effects. India has managed reasonably well considering its size and its complexity. But we've been forced to get into a pause mode and slowly emerge out of it, just like how in nature a butterfly gets into a metamorphosis phase where from a caterpillar it goes and weaves a cocoon, and from that pupa, within that, it just emerges after anywhere between a couple of weeks to maybe some months. It emerges out of this very constricted, very difficult phase of transformation into a beautiful butterfly. So pause for a moment and think, would I like this particular phase of my life to be something that I see as an opportunity for transformation? Or do I see it as something that is disruptive, that has created havoc for me, it has created trouble for me, the world has gone into a tailspin, it's all negative, it is all really terrible? The choice is ours. How I choose to respond to this particular situation is entirely left to me. Because this particular pause in our lives is a crucial one at that, because it has made us reflect on many things that we have never thought about in our lives. It has made us value certain things that we never valued in our lives. It's not that we didn't want to value it, it's just that we never got into thinking about those things that we valued. Simple things as relationships with people, the near and dear. We took it for granted. We saw people close to us, young people dying, young people suffering, elder people just suddenly, they were there in our lives, next day they are not there. The fragility of life came home in this last year and a half. So we had to change the way we respond and change the way we make choices in our lives. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Saying, what are we going to do in terms of, the word soft skill is very cliched. We keep using this very often, saying that how do I become soft? How do I soften myself? How do I sharpen my responses while I soften me as a person? And that reminds me of a very, very poignant story, of a real life story of a gentleman by the name Viktor Frankl. He's a doctor by profession, from your profession. He suffered for 17 years in a Jewish concentration camp, subject to all the kinds of inhuman, terrible tortures, experimentation. You all know, I'm sure all of you have read about those concentration camps where millions of Jews were experimented upon, killed, gassed. Extraordinarily cruel things happened to them. He was one of them. He suffered all that along with fellow prisoners, 17 years. But he kept his hope alive because he said, they can take everything away from me but my spirit. He said, that is my choice, how I respond. They cannot take away my freedom to choose. And that helped him survive and also help the people around him survive those 17 years. So when the war ended and they were released, he made it his life's purpose to help all those several thousands, if not millions of people who came out not knowing what to do with their lives, completely destroyed. No family, no homes, no money, terrible health. Many of them had gone mad. And he took it upon himself to help them. So he went into trauma care. He became specialized in that particular field, helped several thousands of people who he doesn't know who the names are also, by starting a suicide helpline. And he captured all those experiences of his in his book called Man's Search for Meaning. So this is the first of the books that, please note down and keep, is a must read, especially as a medical professional. It's a very short 100-page book, but do read this book where he talks about why humans are so special, because we all have a meaning, we all have a purpose. As a medical professional, your purpose is the most noble. It is to save lives. It is to help people live a happy, contented, healthy life. That's the noblest of purpose. So if we understand that purpose very well, then all the skills that you need will automatically come to you. In that book, there's a particular phrase that he uses, which is personally for me, that has been the most powerful, the most meaningful phrase that has guided me in all that I've been doing in the last several years. So, where he says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Just reflect on this for a few seconds. I have given you a stimulating quote, and I'm going to give you a space for you to respond. Digest what is there and then respond. Whether you can on chat for those who can, or you can even come off mute for those who can. I know there's a really big audience out there in YouTube, so I'm sorry you may not be able to respond, but for those who are on YouTube, most welcome to just give me on chat, what do you make of this particular statement? How does it resonate for you? Just a quick comment or two. There are three keywords here: stimulus, space, response. Very careful words, they are very carefully chosen words. The word is response, not react. So here the point that is being communicated is, are we using that space that's available every time there is a stimulus that is coming our way? Are we using that space sensibly to choose how to respond to the stimulus? Right? So now stimulus can come in multiple ways. It could be what I'm saying just now, that's a stimulus. What you're thinking internally, maybe some of you are thinking, I need to be somewhere else. I need to be studying for my some upcoming exams, or I need to meet somebody, or make a call, or talk to my parents, or eat my breakfast. Hundreds of things may be going on in your mind. So all that are stimulus. Question is, how do I respond to them? Even choose to respond to them, whether I should respond to them or should I not respond to them. Right? So Stephen Covey, he goes on to explain this particular space very well. Stephen Covey is the author of yet another extremely impactful and useful book to have. For those of you who have read it, great. If not, please make a point. This is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dr. Stephen Covey is the author of that very, very powerful book. So where he says that the space where you have the freedom to choose between stimulus and response is made up of 4 elements. There are 4 things that make up this space. Number 1 is self-awareness. That is a very heightened sense of how am I emotionally at this point in time? What am I feeling? For those of you who joined earlier, I had asked this question, so how are you feeling right now? Where are you dialing in from? Because understanding how I'm feeling has a huge impact on the way how I will think as well. What is driving my thinking? They're interrelated, right? Whether I'm balanced, whether I'm feeling emotionally low, high, whether I'm stressed, whether I'm sad, whether I'm elated, whether I'm joyous, whether I'm contented, all those things have an impact on the way that I'm going to respond to a particular moment. The second aspect of this is imagination. Imagination in terms of ability to visualize what will be the consequence of the response. Understand what will happen if I were to respond in a particular way. Third is the conscience. Conscience in terms of the values that I have. How those things have an impact on the choices that I make. How does it resonate well with me? Do I feel right or wrong when I am thinking about a particular choice to respond? And finally, using my independent will to execute on the response that is coming out of me, based on awareness, based on imagination, based on conscience. Right? So a composite of all these 4 enables me to come up with the response. This is completely different from this commonly used word that I react. Reaction is a product of the way that our brain is wired. So is response. There are two different parts of the brain at play when you're talking about reaction and response. So let's look at how the brain sciences at play here. When we are in a high state of emotion, when we are angry, when we are fearful, when we are excited, and we have somebody, we hate something or hate somebody, we are disgusted with something, we are frustrated, highly stressed, then we are in a state of high emotion. At that point of time, we are mostly in the reactive mode because our higher cortex, the prefrontal cortex, you guys are all science and medical specialists, so I don't want to dwell too much on it. I'm not one. So I'm just going to briefly touch upon the idea that that gets shut down. It's like an absence of mind. We are in panic mode. And we are operating based on our primordial part of the brain, which is the reactive part of the brain. This is the responsive part. This is the reactive part. And that is completely managed by amygdala. That's the one that's closest to your spine. That's the one that sends the sympathetic responses to all your key extremities, telling you to run or fight or freeze. Standard three responses. So what happens in the situation is that you have what we call as an amygdala hijack. So when there is an external stimuli, there's a perception of any kind of threat, our system bypasses the logic center, goes straight to the primitive part of the brain, which triggers this complete hormones, adrenaline, testosterone, cortisol, all those what you call those stress hormones, which basically is designed to help you survive the situation. So your blood pumps faster, then you have more hormones, more rage. It triggers this cycle, and it takes anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes to come out of it for you to get what is called presence of mind from the primordial side of the brain to your very highly human, highly evolved logical cognitive side of the brain, which is the response side of the brain. So for us to consciously move from high emotion to low emotion takes effort. And that's why the space becomes very crucial. How do I use this space between stimulus and response? So we face these higher emotions in multiple situations. We face peer pressure. We have bullying. We have unrealistic timelines. We have too much to study in too little time. We have fear of missing out, which is called FOMO. We live in a highly digital world, connected continuously to all the news that's hitting us, all the stimulus that's continuously coming there, WhatsApp messages, Instagram messages, Twitter, news clips, and of course the print media, the TV channels. We are constantly being evaluated by people around us. We know that we are being evaluated by people. We are being judged. There's so much prejudice. There's so much bias. Some of us are our own. We have a lot of unconscious bias. We have fear of being excluded, being ignored, being single, being alone. So many things come complexly, putting us in this high state of emotion. Right? So how do I enable my brain to become more responsive and less reactive? What will it take? To start with, there's a very simple physical exercise, which we're going to do right now. I invite you to join me in doing this very simple exercise where we are going to consciously activate our parasympathetic neurosystem, which is the system that enables us to prevent an amygdala hijack. It moves our resources consciously from the what is called the reptilian brain to our cognitive brain. It's a very simple technique. All that you need to do is put your right index finger on your right nostril, shut it firmly, and breathe deeply only to your left nostril. Inhale and exhale slowly, consciously, with total awareness. Just about 5 times. Take an inhalation to the count of 5, and inhale, exhale to the count of 10. For now, for this exercise, you can just do 5 up, 5 down. That is 5 inhalation, 5 exhalation. But when you want to do this at home or at your workplace, whenever you're facing any kind of anxiety, stress, 5 up and down is fine. So just totally, it's about 10 times if you do inhale and exhale. Basically normalizes your entire parasympathetic, your neurosystem, because your parasympathetic neurosystem gets activated and all the anxiety gets normalized. So let's do this for a couple of times together. That's it. So we live in a world where we do a lot of shallow breathing. That's the biggest malady of this modern world, that we don't even know that we are breathing. It is left to this amygdala. The amygdala is ensuring that you're breathing. It just keeps you alive. So we have to move from shallow, what is called unconscious breathing, to conscious breathing. A very simple, free of charge step to managing stress. You don't need any special skill for this. It is a natural gift of God for you all, that all of us, that the breathing is the most simple healing mechanism in our system. So when we do proper breathing, we are we are activating this parasympathetic autonomic nervous system. It's also called the rest and digest system. It is, for those of you who are interested in the science, it conserves energy as it slows the heart rate, increases the intestinal and gland activity, relaxes the sphincter muscles in the gastrointestinal tract. All these are signs that I just picked up from. Whereas the sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for what is this intense physical activity. And it is, as you all very well know, it's the fight or flight response mechanism. So they work exactly opposite to each other, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. So we want to do more of parasympathetic whenever we feel anxiety. So this is the very simplest exercise. So note it, do it as often as you feel, share it with people. Nothing, doesn't cost you anything except a few moments of peaceful breathing. Now let us look at this. We talked about the way how this response can be managed. We talked about what is the space. Now let's look at the stimulus. What is the stimulus? We talked about stimulus. So I'm just going to ask you to come on chat, or just visualize for yourself that you are right now in the midst of this circle, 3 circles. You just visualize that there's a circle of all the stimulus that's happening in this world around you. And they take different shapes and different forms, right? So it's a visualization exercise. Just close your eyes. Just visualize that you're right now in the center of these 3 circles. And what are these circles? These circles are nothing but the daily stimuli. All the events, all the actions, all the activities that you're currently involved in, that the world is going through, your immediate family is going through, your immediate community is going through, your city is going through, your state is going through, your country is going through, the globe is going through, the universe is going through. Everything, we are part of it, right? So put them into 3 circles. We are in what is now become very famously called as a VUCA world. It's very volatile. We don't know what will happen next. Uncertain, has nobody clue, don't know how these things will pan out. Very complex. There's so many parameters at play today in our world. Very ambiguous, very cloudy, very unclear as to what will be the future for us. So we have to maneuver. We have to manage this particular difficult world. For that, we have to understand these. We have to understand what are these stimuli, where do they fall. So we'll keep the visualization process going and look at the first largest circle, number 1 circle, which is those things that I have absolutely no control of. I'm concerned about it. I'm worried about it. Or I'm distracted by it. It may not be just worries and concerns. It may be distracted, maybe even entertaining for me. But these are the things that I have no control on the outcomes. My inputs will not yield me anything. Zero impact on the event. The event has an impact on me. Whatever happens in the circle impacts me, but I cannot impact what's happening in that circle. They are not in my control. But they take a lot of my time. They take a lot of my energy. They take a lot of my attention, a lot of my focus, a lot of my money also, and a lot of my conversations revolve around this circle. I'll give an example. Traffic. Commuting in heavy traffic. I live in Bangalore. So, except for the fact that COVID has reduced it significantly, but that's always been an eternal issue in Bangalore, that we have got bottlenecks. We have a lot of traffic gridlocks. So all of us, when we set out for our trip, we are always worried about where will we get stuck, especially those who have to go to the airport. I live 50 kilometers away from the airport. So I leave at least 3 to 4 hours before my flight, keeping a good cushion so that I don't miss my flight. I have missed my flight. So these are things that are in my concern. I'm concerned about it, but I have no control. I don't know how the traffic will be. Where will the traffic get locked? And if I do get locked, what can I do about it? Nothing. Right? So think of similar things in your lives which concern you, which is troubling you, which is maybe even entertaining you, which is distracting you, on which you have no control. For those of you who are on YouTube, you may come on chat and just share what is coming into your mind. And for those of you who are on YouTube, just make a note for yourself. So you use the chat to type a word or two on what are the things that you think are those stimulus and those events which are in that circle on which you have no control. These are there all around you, continuously knocking at you, making you, forcing you to act or react or respond. Go ahead. I would like to make this interactive because otherwise it will become like attending a lecture. That's not the intent behind it. We have enough participants. I would love to hear, or at least some of you can put it on chat, a word or two on what are those things that you think are in your circle of concern.
అది అవి ఎవరికి మన రూమ్ వాళ్ళకి కావాలంట.
Can you mute I can hear some voices, please? Yeah, I would love to see some responses, please, because it will be very difficult for me to have a monologue. I would like to see some responses. There are so many of you on chat, on the meeting here, YouTube. Please come and share on chat and share your thoughts on what are those things that are in your circle of concern, which you cannot control. I gave an example of traffic. What else? What are the things that are going on right now around you, which you can do nothing about? Am I audible? I don't know. I'm not getting any feedback from any of you.
Priya wants to say something. Go ahead.
Reading. Bhargavi says reading is one thing that, okay, fine. So Bhargavi, what is the thing that you have no control over on reading? And I need some clarity. Why do you think that's something that you have no control over? You read, right? You're the one who's reading. Others, please chip in with some words. So I'm glad that at least one of you have started responding. It is important for me to hear you say something or type something. Otherwise, this will not go the direction that we want it to go. We want you to participate in this. We plan for the day, but we don't achieve it. Precisely. That's the point here. Why is that happening? That's precisely the whole, this circle is all about those things that prevent us from doing what we set out to do. So we do things which take our time, but actually does not help us accomplish what we want to do. Tell me those things. What prevents you from achieving your goals, from completing your plans for the day? Procrastination, yes. Okay. Procrastination is whose problem? Who's causing it? Who is procrastinating? Somebody outside is procrastinating, or are you procrastinating? Exactly. So this is still your problem. We are talking about problems that are coming from outside, right? These are things that you have no control over. Both examples that are given are both are within our control. It's my actions, my thoughts, my responses. I'm talking about those things where I have no control over. Anyway, in the interest of time, I'm just going to take what typically when we ask this question in groups like these are the multiple things that come at us. Things like taxation. You have to pay the taxes. Taxes are fixed by the government. You have to pay. You may curse, you may whine, you may be doing whatever you want, but fact is taxes to be paid. There are clear slabs, follow it. Of course, COVID has created an entire new circle of problems and concerns. We'll talk about that very soon. I mean, COVID idiots, these are people who have exploited the overall worrying environment to give their own spin to what is happening as a result of COVID. People are worried about job. People are worried about pay cuts, GDP, economy, stock market. Do we have any control on the way the stock market behaves? Not at all, but we still talk about it, read about it, listen to all the inputs from so many experts. Petrol price increases, forex reserves, traffic, of course, aliens. People always are concerned about, is there a life out there somewhere? I heard I don't know if it's George Bernard Shaw or some famous author who said that the fact that there is intelligence outside this universe is proven by the fact that they have not made any attempt to reach to us. A very, very powerful statement. He's saying that the fact that there are intelligent beings outside this universe is proven by the fact that they have made no attempt to reach out to us. Okay. So anyway, weather. People talk about the weather. You can do nothing about it. People are worried about life after death. We are closely following the lives of celebrities. Can you do anything about it? But we are so focused on those things. We talk about social media is a major part of our lives today. Everything that's happening around the world, we want to know. We want to be informed. IPL, CAA, Bollywood, natural calamities, politics, mergers, acquisitions for those who are interested in corporate shenanigans, competition, so on and so forth. There's so many things. It's just a very, very small sample of all the stimulus that's always around us, which is continuously grabbing our attention. We have nothing we can do in this space, but it takes a lot of our time, energy, focus. And the outcome is that we don't have time for things that really matter. As Stephen Covey says in a very beautiful say, he says the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. This circle is what we call as the not to do circle. But we are always doing things in this circle. And then we keep complaining about time management. We keep saying, I don't have time, I don't have time. We seem to be always running out of time. Why? Because this is the circle that we seem to be operating most of it. Think about it. How much time in a day goes into this circle for you? And imagine the stress that this thing is causing you. Imagine the consequences of the stress on your mental health, on your physical health, on your social well-being, on your wealth, right? It's a big circle, very big. And we spend a lot of time on this. And this decides whether you're efficient or you're effective. We'll talk about that later. Efficient is a function of time. How much can I do in the time available to me? Effectiveness is what do I choose to do in the time available to me? So there's a lovely statement which says, efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things. I'll repeat. Efficiency is doing things right, and effectiveness is doing the right things. So what do you want to do? Do the things that matters most to you. So in this circle, it tests your ability to discriminate, to choose what to respond to, what to react. So the choices have to be made here. So should I respond? Should I get involved in this? My own personal example is simple. It's about 14 years since I stopped watching TV channels, reading newspapers. Anything that has got news content, I've stopped consciously, because no longer do you get news, you get opinions. It's always opinions. So I can make my own opinions. Why should I listen to somebody else? Unless it's valuable to me, to my purpose in life, my meaning in life, which I talked about earlier. Dr. Franklin talked about what is your purpose? What is your meaning in life? So if I get to know or need to know something which is relevant to my purpose and my meaning in life, I will read it. I try as much as possible not to operate in this circle of concern. Let's look at the new circle that has come as a result of COVID. So it's created its own circle of issues. So when you talk about stress, anxiety, dejection, depression, illness, helplessness, confusion, inertia, it has been compounded even more by all these problems issues triggered by COVID. Lockdowns, people have to multitask, working from home. People are worried about job. How do I keep employees motivated? Those who are running businesses. How do I manage inventory? So much inventory I have to now liquidate. Cash flow management. There's not enough money coming into the market. How do I keep my business going? People are challenged to socialize. People are unhappy just having to see screens. They want to meet people. They want to touch. It's such an important thing as humans to have this body-to-body interaction, not just screen to screen. It's very fatiguing. Fake news, a lot of fake news on COVID and related topics now. We don't know what to trust, whom to trust, how much to trust. A lot of social media now, because everybody is always connected down screens. So we are getting too much of a social media diet. So on and so forth. So those are the things that is causing all these words. Because when we talk about soft skills, people say, I want to manage stress. I want to manage time. We have made them all as separate compartments. No, they are not. They're all one basket of problems. It's all coming from wasting our time on things that we have no control over and getting easily. Right? So let's look at this next circle, the smaller circle, which is what we call a circle of influence. So influence, very simple. The word always influence comes in question of people. Who can I influence? It's always to do with people. So some of the examples that came earlier, thank you, Alak, right? Yeah, I was just going to ask that who are those people whom we influence on a daily basis, who we interact with? All the people, you see, this is, I just added a sample again. I call them very simply stakeholders. All these are my stakeholders in my life. These are my family, my friends, my relatives, my spouse, my children, my parents, my people whom I work with, my colleagues, people whom I report into, people who report into me, the business that I run, my boss, my peers. This is the community that I live in, the city that I live in. All these are the people that I am totally on a daily basis interacting with. So can I influence them? Yes, I can. Can I control them? No, I cannot control them. Nobody I can control. I can only influence them. What do I need? What goes into influencing people? Any ingredient you can think of? What comes into play when I want to influence somebody? I want somebody to do something which benefits perhaps me, perhaps them, or something larger, a larger cause. What do you think goes into influencing people? Give me a couple of responses. What do I need to influence people? Good communication skills. Thank you. I see one or two are pretty active here. I would like to see more responses as well. Thank you, Alaknanda. Very nice selection of words. Good communication skills. Absolutely. What else? What else? They have a very silent gang out here. Okay. Inspiration and possible consequences of influence. Yeah, you can inspire people. Belief, responsibility. Yes. Good. Sure. In fact, the word responsibility, I forgot to mention earlier, is the root word for responsibility is ability to respond. You see the way the word is coined. So when we choose our responses carefully, we become more responsible. When you say the person is very responsible, we are actually saying that that person is able to respond well, right? So let's look at what goes into, what are the ingredients over and above what you have shared of response influence, right? So here you are. This is just a rough, sample, but it's a pretty powerful one. Number one, mutual respect. You have to respect each other. No matter where they belong, what they come from, what ethnicity they have, what religion they profess, what faith they have, what color of skin, doesn't matter. So we don't need special privileges, special anything. If we respect each other, we don't need any special reservations, nothing. We just, everything is happening in our mind. Right? All this is through the mind. Trusting each other. How do I invest in a trusting relationship? How do I communicate effectively? How do I accept people the way they are? Not the way I want them to be. Do I listen actively? Active listening is completely being present, being 100% to understand what the other person is saying. That is saying loud, having patience. Can I request the muting of those who are not actively participating? Kindly mute for your, yeah, thank you. Then when you're in a workplace, you're talking about how do I align expectations? I would say it's there in your personal space, not just workspace. How do I align expectation? Are we clear on what each other expect? Are we giving feedback on this expectations? How well are we delegating work? How are we willing to take on work? How do we manage conflicts? Are they constructive? How do you convert them into a collaborative effort? All these goes into building this ability to influence people. And then finally comes the smallest circle. You see the circle sizes are getting smaller and smaller. This is the circle of control, absolute control. What do you think you can control? Completely, 100%. Our actions, absolutely. True. Very well said. Simple answer, but that is the right answer. Okay. It's as simple as what I do. I am in full control of simply how much I eat, when I eat, what I eat, how I eat, where I eat, sleep, how much I sleep, when I sleep, where I sleep. Exercise, same thing, same answers. Meditate, socialize, read, continuous learning, educating myself, contributing to the community through charity, through donations. Okay. Whatever I do, whatever I choose to do, those things, my intentions, my actions, everything is under my control. My ability to keep my mental, physical, social, family, wealth, health, all these dimensions completely in my control, is in my control. For that, I need to become what is called self-centered with a capital S. Totally focused on my own self. Not selfish as people call it. It is self-centeredness, where I change the focus from outside to my inside, to myself. Instead of spending time on this large circle of concern, you focus on what you know is going to be valuable to you and the people that you work with, to live with and work with. So you focus. So that's why we say there are 4 things that you can do to manage the circles much better. One is focus on reducing the circle of concern, because you know you can do nothing there. You're wasting energy, time as you spend more and more time. It could entertain you, it could make you very happy momentarily, but at the same time, it saps your energy. So we say reduce the circle of concern as much as you can. Stay in the circle of influence, increase it in the people that you deal with. Spend more time learning how to deal with people. That's the crucial skill. And of course, deepen and intensify the circle of control, which is you. So I need to start doing things that I have not done in the past. Stop doing things that is not adding value. Continue doing things which are working well for me. And finally, change, tweak a little, flex it a little where I know that there are some changes to be made. Question is how. And that's where we bring in some tools. So far, we talked about the concepts, we talked about the frames, we set out the challenges. Now we're saying there are tools, very simple. So we come from the Heartfulness Institute, right? Where we have a very simple way of managing these circles, managing these challenges. How do I use the space between stimulus and response. Every day, how do I make sure that my responses are well-made choices, so that I live more in the circle of control and influence and less in the circle of concern. So we are going to take you through a simple practice, a physical practice, which is called relaxation. A couple of minutes. I will call out the instructions. You just follow it. Doesn't require anything except that you're seated comfortably on a chair or on the floor, whatever works best for you, and just are able to focus on what I am calling out. Right. So if you're ready, I will be taking you through that. And before I continue on that, let me also spend a few minutes on explaining the next step. So if you remember, there are 4 core practices. One is relaxation, it's a physical relaxation. 2, so that once you're physically in a comfortable state, I would say, then you're in a position to work on your mind. And from there, you're able to work on your inner emotions and your inner sensations and the way that you manage yourself. So it's a 3-step process. So that's what I'm going to take you through. And in today's program, we are going to focus on this as the core. It's like you can say that it is the fulcrum of this program, saying that we want you to go with some simple tools, 0 cost, 0 investment, 0 resources. It's just that you need to do this. That's all. So all you need to do is just practice this and see what happens to all the problems that you seem to always have, both as a student, as a professional, whatever that may be that you're doing currently. Right. So I'll take you through this in a minute. Before that, I just want to briefly touch upon meditation, because I am aware that we are maybe entering that point in time where the chief guest may come in to do an inauguration. So I want to finish this, and in case we do have to break, there'll be a logical break. So let me just do this right now. So we're going to get into meditation after this. That is, there's a continuation of the relaxation. So the practice typically, when you do it in your own private time, will be about 30 minutes. But today we're not going to take you that long. We'll just give you an example of that. It's like when somebody wants to teach you swimming, they just show what the water is like. They say, this is how you put your head, this is how you float. It takes time before you start actually swimming laps in the pool. So today we are going to say, we're going to put you into the water and say, this is what a water is. And let's see if you can hold your breath comfortably. Let's first talk about meditation. Right. So for that, meditation is, it's commonly misunderstood. There's a lot of mystery and myth around meditation. Many people think that meditation means I have to go to the jungle, I have to be old. It is not for young people. It is actually doing nothing. A lot of misconception. So let's clarify that. Right. So for that, there are 2 aspects that we need to understand, that any activity, any response requires focus and effort. Right. So a combination of this, when you put an intersection between these, one is where I need to have focus, where I'm able to focus, where I'm able to focus, versus where I'm not able to focus. Likewise, where I need to put in effort, where on the other hand, it seems effortless. Right. So it makes a joyful thing. So intersection of that gives me 4 different combinations of outcomes. The first one is where there's a lot of effort and it's very difficult to focus. The outcome of that space is it leads to frustration. My example that I always use is when I was studying in my college years, income tax was a very, very difficult subject for me. A lot of sections to remember, memorize. I'm sure all of you as medical students will have similar topics where you have to just remember those. It's all rote reading. You don't understand, but you just have to remember it. So I struggled with tax particularly. And I couldn't focus. It was very difficult to remember. I burnt a lot of my energy. So I was very frustrated. So that is the outcome of these 2. And of course, on the other side, we have where there's no effort required and you're also not focusing on anything particular. So that we call as a daydreaming. The outcomes are nothing. There's nothing coming out of it. Just the time has gone by. We can see a lot of children doing that, even adults doing that. There's no purpose, that nothing. It just the time goes away. That's what we call as daydreaming. There's no outcome from this. Then on the left top, we have a combination of where you're able to focus, but it comes as a huge effort. So there is fatigue at the end of it all, which is what we call concentration. There's a physical effort, there's a mental effort to get the focus. So the effort is what we call as concentration. So same for my tax paper. Eventually, from frustration, I moved to concentration because I just kept at it to a point where I was able to concentrate. Obviously, it drained me. It used to make me feel very exhausted. So I was so relieved when I passed that particular exam. I said, finished. I don't want to look at this subject anymore in my life. Of course, I'm paying taxes. That's another effort in itself. Okay. So the other part, the sweet spot, if you want to call it, is where you're able to focus and you're doing it effortlessly. And that's what we call as meditation. So think of those things that you do on a daily basis where you're able to focus on the particular activity and you don't notice that you're spending time or any kind of energy on that. So it's so effortless. It gives you maybe joy. It gives you peace. Think of something like that right now. So what are the things that you're able to do effortlessly and with focus, with all the attention that it requires, and you feel that you have not done anything much. It seems to be natural for you. Any examples that comes to your mind? Type it on chat for me. Painting. Yes, great. So any kind of arts that people are involved in, anything creative, can be quite therapeutic, meditative. Yes, absolutely. Some of you could be singing. You could have people who are loving music. Some of you may be reading great books, watching some fantastic episodes, some serials that you love to watch. Right? Netflix, of course, today Netflix, Prime TV, and all those various different OTT platforms offers a lot of those kind of things where people are meditating continuously, right? So any activity which gives you that kind of focus and effortlessness is what is, from a definition point of view, is meditation, right? So if you were to give it a proper definition, it says when the mind is thinking about something on its own or rests with a purpose on something for a period of time, and the effect of this influences a person's behavior, it is called meditation. Right? So since today's theme is soft skills, I can venture to say that this is the softest of all skills that we will need to transform ourselves into the humans that we are destined to become. And more importantly, to access the intelligence of our heart. Right? So on that note, let me share this very interesting video by Dr. Kaushik Ram, who is a neuroscience research specialist, a very acclaimed one at that. So let me play a quick video from one of his recent talks on the intelligence of the heart.
The evolution of humankind has been hijacked by the human mind, and we have almost lost touch of the intelligence of the body altogether. By the time our children leave school, they have become chronic thinkers, and they've been disconnected from their own bodies. And when someone says, listen to your body, they don't know what to refer to, because sometimes there's pain, there's trauma, and so forth. And when the body has stopped speaking a long time ago, there's very little to listen to. And perhaps the easiest access point for anyone would be to access the intelligence of their own heart, because the heart is responsive to this moment. It cannot be otherwise. The moment anything happens externally, our breathing changes, and because our breath is so intimately linked with our own hearts, the heart will change as well. If you look back at the theory of neurovisceral integration, it's the cardiac pulmonary response that was the first perception of reality. So our hearts perceive before anything else does. And so when we are able to incept this chain of iterative thoughts right at the center of it, be able to shape all of our thought patterns and respond in the qualities of the heart, which is love, compassion, connection, all these beautiful intentions that shape.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed out on sharing the right screen. Give me a minute, just a short video. So thanks Deepak for catching me on that one, because it's on the other screen. So I was watching it intently, forgetting that I should change my screen. Just give me a minute, I'll get that set right. So you heard the audio, all of you. Just sorry, I've just changed the screen to stop share. New share.
The evolution of humankind has been hijacked by the human mind, and we have almost lost touch of the intelligence of the body altogether. By the time our children leave school, they have become chronic thinkers and they've been disconnected from their own bodies. And when someone says, listen to your body, they don't know what to refer to because sometimes there's pain, there's trauma, and so forth. And when the body has stopped speaking a long time ago, there's very little to listen to. And perhaps the easiest access point for anyone would be to access the intelligence of their own heart, because the heart is responsive to this moment. It cannot be otherwise. The moment anything happens externally, our breathing changes, and because our breath is so intimately linked with our own hearts, the heart will change as well. If you look back at the theory of neurovisceral integration, it's the cardiac pulmonary response that was the first perception of reality. So our hearts perceive before anything else does. And so when we are able to incept this chain of iterative thoughts right at the center of it, we're able to shape all of our thought patterns and respond in the qualities of the heart, which is love, compassion, connection, all this beautiful intention.
Whose wife? What are you talking about?
The second one.
Whose wife?
It's some show that we're talking.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
I can hear someone voices unmuted. Kindly mute yourself. Continue your conversation. I don't want to intrude into your conversation, but let's continue ours. So let me just get my screen back. Okay, so here we are. So if you notice, the key aspect is about how the heart is the one that perceives first. It's the instrument of perception. It's always several, I mean, even though it is in microseconds, but it is much faster than the brain in terms of its ability to respond, ability to perceive. And with that in mind is where our whole heartfulness core practice of meditation comes into play, because it uses this basic idea that meditation is to think of the same thing for a period of time. It is an effortless focus. It's very natural for us. We are born with the ability to meditate because we are born with this ability to perceive with our heart first. So that's why we want to make sure that when we are doing meditation, we use the heart as our object of meditation. It's important that we are very clear what we meditate on. It's about what do we want to become? With what do we identify? Our bodies and our minds are both vehicles for what we call the soul, which is it's a causal body, we say. It's the cause of our existence, the master of our existence, that capital S, self. The mind is the interface between the body and the soul. It's through meditation that we experience the master behind the vehicle. We also discover in meditation that we are not just the vehicles of body and mind, but also we are the one who use the vehicles. And in this particular meditation, we are also going to experience something called the yogic transmission, which facilitates this experience. And when we connect with the source of this particular, if you want to call it very simplistically, energy, our meditation soars to levels which we could never experience without it. So the master within me, starts witnessing things that I was not capable of witnessing before. In this process of meditation, body and mind takes, it's natural.
Okay, 19.
Can you please go on mute, please? It's disturbing others for those who are not muted. So if you think of a person playing a piano, It's like them, the pianist is using the strings, the pedals to play the music. But is the pianist the music? No. These are the things that are the vehicles for her to make the music. So we come to know what is the body, what is the mind, what is the soul through this regular practice of meditation. We drive deep into our consciousness, right, in this meditation. So let's experience it. So we're going to do relaxation and meditation. So what is this meditation require? Very simple. You're going to, once we finish the relaxation, you will close your eyes and bring your awareness to the idea that there is the source of light. That you're connecting to the divine source, that is a universal energy that's around us. We're just connecting to that idea that that universal energy is also residing within me in the form of a light. It is not the illumination we're looking for. We are looking for the warmth, the feeling of that light within us. We do it with the thought that that thing is attracting me like a magnet. It's pulling me deep inside myself. And we do it very gently. We don't concentrate. Remember, the word concentration means you're putting effort. Let it happen naturally. Keep your awareness continuously on your physical heart. You could even feel it beating. That means your awareness is on your heart. And then slowly let that thing just melt. Just melt. You melt into that awareness. You may get into a deeper state of relaxation. Just enjoy it. If there are thoughts that come during, I will not say if, when there are thoughts which come, just ignore it like you would ignore uninvited guests, or the way that you're observing clouds that are passing by. Just ignore them. They'll just come, they'll go, they'll come, they'll go. Don't pay attention, because you'll strengthen it and you'll fall into a chain of thoughts. So let this process continue, and continue with this process until we call out that that's all. So we'll do relaxation and meditation now. So maybe 15-20 minutes exercise. So I invite you all to just close your eyes comfortably. Make sure that your feet are firmly on the ground, or you're sitting cross-legged, whichever is comfortable to you. It is your comfortable posture that is important. You don't need any particular asana or any kind of yogic posture. Just sit comfortably. And just close your eyes. Drop your shoulders. Release your jaws. Just relax completely. Make sure your head is not resting on anything. It's free. Your back is straight. Take a couple of deep conscious breaths. Just draw attention to your feet and visualize a current of healing energy entering your feet from Mother Earth and gently flowing through your entire feet, your toes, releasing all the stress and tension, relaxing your entire feet. Observe that energy stream now flowing from your ankles, relaxing your calf muscles, moving upwards, gently flowing, releasing the stress and tension in your entire lower feet, reaching your knee joint, relaxing it, and then flowing on, relaxing your thigh muscles. Now flowing into your hip area, releasing all the stress and tension, loosening and softening the muscles. The entire area around your hips, pelvic, the lower area, the seat area, all those areas are getting relaxed. And the healing energy continues its flow, relaxing your abdominal muscles, stomach, entire chest area, and all the organs, body parts inside that chest area, fully relaxed. Current of energy now flows over your shoulders, going down your entire back, upper, middle, lower back, all the way to the tailbone, relaxing it all completely. Now the stream of energy is flowing down your shoulder joints, relaxing your upper arms, the biceps, your elbow joints, releasing all the stress, tension in your forearms, your palm, your fingers. So neck down, your body is now relaxed, stress-free, at ease. The healing current now continues its flow upwards from your neck, relaxing your neck muscles, flowing from your jawline, relaxing your entire jaw, your cheek, facial muscles, your mouth, your nostrils, eyes, your earlobes, and then gently flowing to the back of the head, relaxing your entire back of the head, flowing upwards, and emerging out the form of a wisp of smoke, having completed its journey of relaxing you. Observe your body from top of the head till tip of the toe. And enjoy the state of relaxation. In case you feel any niggles, any blocks, any part, just use the will of your mind to visualize it being released from the top of your head as a wisp of smoke. Relaxed body and a focused mind. Just draw your attention to your physical heart. Just focus on this idea that the source of divine light is already present in your heart. And it is drawing you inwards. Just stay in this awareness. Just be a witness. There's nothing you need to do, just be a passive witness. As this light, just feel this light, the warmth of this light, just like an embrace of a mother, of a child, or a warm sun on a wintry day. Let this feeling seep through your entire body. You're just becoming conscious of your deeper self, your inner self. Ignore all the thoughts that come. If you do get distracted by any thought, gently remind yourself that you are meditating, and all this divine light come back to the meditation. Just continue until I say that song. That's all. Continue to keep your eyes closed. Just observe how you're feeling right now as you went deeper into yourself. It's a very short experience just to give you a glimpse of what meditation is truly about. Just think about how you're feeling at the physical level. Think about how you felt when you started the process, how you feel right now. Did you notice the time going by? What did you like about what you experienced within yourself? Did any thoughts disturb you? And when you're ready, gently open your eyes and share a word or two to describe how you felt on chat. Thank you, Shravani. Feeling peaceful? That's nice. I'd like to hear some more responses. I can see there are quite a few participants online, so it'll be nice to hear from you all. I know you have had a great experience, but share it for the benefit of us as well as others. There could be some interesting things that some of you experience, which could help others also realize, put a word to their feelings. Okay, looks like we have got a particularly very quiet and very silent bunch of people on this program. So I'm not going to keep pressurizing you all. I hope that you had a good meditation session. This is just a small glimpse, as I said earlier. Typically, we do anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, Alaknanda, thank you for your thoughts. Yes, thoughts are disturbing and then they diminish. As I said, this is a very short exercise. Post this exercise, we're going to spend some time on our third core practice on how to manage those thoughts. How do I manage the stresses that are happening within me in terms of triggered by my own thoughts, my own anxieties, my own concerns. So we're going to take you into that particular, if I want to call it, module. Because when we do meditation in heartfulness practice, the thoughts basically come to the surface precisely to leave the field and creating a vacuum in us so that we can fill the vacant space with much more refined, much more purer thoughts. Right? That will completely take us from that circle of concern and bring us into that circle of control. Use the space that meditation creates to be very responsive, to choose our responses, to grow, to become free, to manage all the multiple dimensions of our life. So with that, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to pause because we have come to a logical closure of the first section of today's session. And I'm going to ask the organizers to confirm if the inaugural talk that the chief guest was to give, is that still on? Do we need to stop here at this point? Or should I invite Deepak, my colleague, to come and continue the session from here on for the second module? So I'm going to give a brief, maybe it's a good time also to give a 5-minute bio break for all of you. It's about an hour and a half since we started the session. So I'm going to just let you all just mute yourself. You're being muted, so it's fine. 5 minutes, we will reassemble. Just take a 5-minute break, stretch yourself, just reflect on the experience that you've been through, make some notes, and join us back. You can stay online. Just at 5 minutes, we will take a break to talk to the organizers on the chief guests program and then resume. So the time on my clock is 10:37. So let us say we'll resume at 10:42 on the dot. All right. Okay. I'll stop sharing now. Okay, so we are back. I hope you all had a quick break. I know it was a short one at that because we were trying to manage time to show you the inaugural ceremony that the chief guest was due to conduct. And I'm told that that happened in parallel. So that's taken care of. I guess you'll all catch up later on that event in a recorded version later on. So I want to thank the organizers for not interrupting the session, though we were ready for that. And now I'll invite Deepak Verma, a colleague and friend, to come and continue the session. Deepak, over to you.
Hi, Subbu, and thank you so much for the wonderful session that we had. And before we continue on to move on to the second wing of heartfulness, which is rejuvenation, I want to take a quick check. We're almost 62 here, and I think many more on YouTube also. So I'm going to run a quick check as to how are you feeling now. And for that, I'm going to use the Mentimeter. So I'm going to request each of you to connect to menti.com, menti.com. And this is the screen. I'm going to present it. Yeah. You're going to go to menti.com and type in the code 4788767. 4788767. Go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 4788767. And here is where you can mention how are you feeling now. So I'm going to wait for the responses to come in. And let me just put in the chat also so that all of you can see it. Menti.com 4788767. So that's it. So I'm going to actually just wait and pause because I know you'll take time to get it. So I'm just going to wait for a few seconds or maybe a minute or two until the words start popping up on the screen. Good. So I'm seeing the first three words coming in: blessed, excited, oh, little tense. Okay, happy. So the best part is all very incognito. So you can write whatever you want to write. Names can't be seen. So that's a risk. But I'm seeing feeling relaxed and calm. So there are 5 of you who have mentioned it. Okay, I'm seeing present, lovely and calm. And I think 2 people have written happy, so which is why it's come a little bigger than the rest. Thinking how to do all this. Wow. Okay. Self-centeredness. Interested. Feeling better and happy. Good. So I think more than one person has written happy, which is good, and also more than one person has written little tense. So I'm going to be curious to ask what is tense about this or about the exercise. I'm not too sure. or did Subhu's magnanimous presence create tension in you? So I'm just giving options as to, or is there some exams around the corner, which is why you're tense? You're feeling better and happy and present. Good. So I'm going to give you one more link right now. I mean, the link remains the same, but one more question. And the question is, the top learnings from the last 90 minutes. The top learnings from the last 90 minutes. Exactly the same code. Go for it, guys. What do you think you've learned the last 90 or 120 minutes? And the learning need not be from what was presented. It could also be some introspection that comes in as the presentation was going on or during the meditation, or some thoughts that came in when you were seeing it. Some insights that you got. So the top insights, learnings need not be specific from what was read out or what was mentioned in the slides, but it could be some aspect also which dawned on you. So go ahead for the same one, menti.com, 4788-767. And if there's no learning, also write, no insight, no problem. Just put it, no insight or no learning. So we'll understand, where we're headed to. So the top learnings or top insights or some thoughts, that we got in the last 90 minutes or so. Patient soft skills, please. Okay, good. Okay, the patience in soft skills. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure the graph of the amygdala response, taught a lot of patience around us. Avoiding distractions, excellent. Increasing influence, so that's the 3 circles. Controlling energy flow into what we can control and into what is core to us. The definition of meditation, beautifully done, and also hopefully the experience of meditation more than definition. Controlling our self. So I think the 3 circles have been quite impactful. So I'm just going to wait for a few more responses. Yeah, I think controlling self is quite strong. Luckily, the person wrote in a different spelling, so it came as 2 as a separate one. Otherwise, it would have become stronger. And I'm seeing a lot of control self, control energy flow, and controlling ourselves. And that's I think what's coming up from the first 90 minutes of what we discussed. Inner need is much more important, and our presence of mind, amazing. A better way of meditation, great. In fact, the powerful technique of the heartfulness relaxation followed by meditation is extremely effective and very powerful to gain a control of ourselves. So, in a sense, it's all linked because when you really go deep within yourself and meditate, you can get into a greater control of your own actions, of your own responses, or the way you control, the way you handle situations. So if you look at it, it's all linked since morning. We were talking about reaction, response, and then we moved on to the circles of control and circles of influence and concern, and then we did meditation. So all these are quite interlinked, and it's great that I think many of you all have caught it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break you all out into groups, okay, into teams of 4 each, only 4 people per team, and it's going to be breakout room. You need to accept the invite on top, and what we're going to discuss is just one question: what are the top changes I need to bring in myself in order to become a more effective or an efficient person? So what are the top changes I think I need to bring in myself? And this is what is going to be discussed in the breakout room. I'm going to put in the chat as well as in the broadcast. Let me just get this ready. Yeah. So I'll repeat it again. What are the changes I need to bring myself in order to make me a more effective and or an efficient person? So whatever you think are the changes that you think needs to be done in yourself. So we're going to have close to 4 people in a room. So any questions that any of you have on the exercise, and we're going to come back and you're going to present what we discussed in that room. So based on what we've discussed till now and the meditation, what do you think are the top changes that you would like to bring about? Because if you remember, one of the slides was, what do I want to start doing? What do I want to stop doing? What do I want to continue to do? And what do I want to change in whatever I'm doing? So if you try to connect all these dots, you can discuss this briefly in your breakout room and come up with some solutions or some whatever you want to kind of discuss. So breakout room, 10 minutes. What do I want to start, stop, continue, and change doing? Yeah. So this is the question I have. Any question? Any questions on this? Shall we open the breakout room? Type yes in the chat box if we are ready for the breakout room. Type yes if you are ready for the breakout room, guys. And if you have doubts or clarifications, please ask it right now. I'm seeing one yes, Deepika, okay. Please type yes to everyone in the chat box if you're ready for the breakout room. We need around 60 yeses coming in. Very quick. Just type yes. Or just type Y. You know, Y is for yes. Just go ahead. Just type yes, yes. Only then I'll open the breakout room. So I'm seeing only 4 yeses till now. So remember, you're going to go to the breakout room, discuss this, come back, and you're going to present what you have discussed. So you assign a leader in the group. You're going to come back and present what you have discussed in the breakout room. I'm seeing only 6 yeses. Can I see all the 60? Raise your hands. Can you at least, as a reaction, put a thumbs up if all of you are ready? Yeah, keep your videos on in the breakout room. Can you put a thumbs up like this, all of you? All of you right now, can you put a thumbs up if you're ready? Or if you want to make it a little more romantic, you can put a heart actually. Okay, put a heart if all of you are ready. Okay, I'm seeing a few thumbs up coming up here and there. Are you there, guys? Yeah, Deepika, I'm seeing yes. So Faizan, are you there? Can you say yes if you're there, Faizan? Johanita, are you there? Put a thumbs up if you're there. Sindhuja, are you there? I think we can move on only if you respond. I'm afraid we can't have this as a monologue. So Manasi, are you there? I need you to at least put a thumbs up if you're there. Bhargavi, Jayashree. So who are there? I mean, are we chatbots or I just
Yes.
Jayashree, you're there. Can the host actually just request people because we don't want to confirm? Are these chatbots? Or are these...
I have the same concern now. That are we talking to people or are we talking to just screenshots? Because this is not going to help us.
I see Deepika, I see Alakananda, I see a few of you all. So Bhargavi, are you there? If you're there, you need to put a thumbs up. Otherwise, I think we'll have to move you to the waiting room. I'm so sorry. We'll have to move people out if you're not there.
I think this is also basic respect for the organizers as well as the people who are coming and making the presentation. Please acknowledge.
Bashir, are you there? Can you just come on video?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Come on video. I want to see if you're there or are you, I want to just first begin. And
sir, I am there, sir. Hello.
So what is the challenge for people to acknowledge?
As a host, can you just request people to, either put a thumbs up, at least as a basic, or I just want to confirm if you're there, because if I open a breakout room and if you're all silent like this, it doesn't make much sense.
Yes, sir.
And this is learning is always two ways. Subbu gave some amazing stuff. In fact, I personally have taken notes. You don't believe it. I took notes on various, points which I learned in the morning. So I'm just curious if. So who are
Deepak, we are in our circle of concern. We have nothing we can do about this.
Yeah.
Unless
and you know what? We're okay. Only 5. Yeah, we're okay if there's only 5 people, and in fact, me and Subbu, we are really happy if there is a few people, but who are focused.
Sir, now some people are giving thumbs up.
yeah, if there's some people are busy or something else, you all can feel free to move out and you can come back here. I'm seeing a couple of thumbs ups. So I'm just going to note down the names who are thumbs ups. So the rest of you, you know, if you're not there, you all can move into the waiting room or you can come back later. Because if I put you in a breakout room and if you're going to be silent like this, it's not going to work out.
Or Deepak, you can just move on. We don't want a breakout session then because maybe people are not very keen to do a breakout.
I want people to interact because otherwise we're talking to a wall.
I know that I would love
Sir,
to see that
some,
happen.
I think the peoples are scared to questioning.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the first thing we need to break. So that's the first thing we need to break.
I think Monica, please. Hello. I think one person it is unmute.
People are breaking out of the session, Deepak.
It's good. No, I'll tell you, if people are breaking out, it's
Coming back, some of them.
fine because then only the serious people are there. I think it's important that we have the serious people here, and if it's only me and Subbu, also I'm really happy. It's great difficulty that we get a personality like Subramaniam, you know, for a training, and I think we need to respect this fact that we have very senior.
I don't think that is so much important. It's your time, your choice. Again, it's the choice, you know, freedom to choose what is important, what is not.
Said yes. So can all of you who are there say, yeah, I'm going to put in the chat round. Can all of us here now say yo? Okay, just say yo. If all of you, I'm going to write to everybody. Okay, just put the word yo in the chat. And whoever is not putting the word yo, we'll move to the breakout room, to the waiting room, or move them out. Can all of you right now say yo? Okay, I'm seeing a couple of you. Yeah, you can write to me personally also. I have no problem. I'm seeing 3 of you have written to me personally. If you're having inhibition of to me or to Subramaniam, you can put it personally, no problem. Okay. Okay. Now I'm seeing some life coming in. Okay. I think
I saw some 8 responses.
good.
9.
I have another 4 personal responses. So now we have at least a quorum of 50%.
Good.
And now I will open the breakout room. Okay. With the group that is there, I think now it makes sense to open the breakout room. So the question remains the same, which is, let me just, now the breakout room has become a little, just, I'll recreate it. Just have to recreate it. So now we open it out and you're going to discuss the same thing what we discussed, and see you back in 10 minutes. Thank you. Bye-bye. You need to accept the Sadvika, how are you?
Fine, sir. Good morning, sir.
Came back from the breakout room. What are you doing now here? Sadvika,
I'll join the group, sir. 1 minute.
do you have a link? I mean, you have the invite. Tell me something about yourself, Sadvika. So I'll join you to the right group. I can't hear you, Sadvika.
Sir, I am first year student, sir.
Okay. And what are you doing? What subject are you doing?
Huh?
What subjects are there? What subjects?